Well, hey, it's just another day in paradise in my pool. That is a waterfall that goes to my other pool. Not as luxurious today, though. Not as luxurious at all, because it has pretty much been not maintained over the last couple months while we've been in Washington State. So you are part of this journey that we're taking everybody on. And this part is already pretty much cleaned up. I got a little bit down there at the end to suck in. And then this sucker right here. Super nutrient dense water, scrubbing it. And then what we are going to make is a living pool, okay? So no chlorine, because this thing would stay beautiful. Blue, crystal clear, and it would just take like a gallon of chlorine a day. So nothing like swimming for a short period of time and then everything looks like rainbows because you're burning the outer layer of your eyeballs. You know, so we're trying something different rather than poisoning ourselves via our water. Been doing some research on a new method of natural filtration. So if I can show you right down here, pretty much this section over is going to be a bunch of water-based plants that then absorb the nutrients in the water, clean the water, and then clarify it. And so you'll be able to document and see how effective this process is. So again, not chlorinating, not water-based natural pond versus in the future what it looks like. Okay, so in case you're wondering, like, oh my gosh, must be nice, Devin, living up down the paradise. It is nice. However, there's still work to be done. And I don't remember what the study was, but the study concluded something to the end that we only remember the high emotional statuses, and the high emotional statuses are typically have to do with struggle and difficulty. So, you know, why would you not want to have a life full of difficult things that you can remember? Why would you want to have a life that you don't remember? And so this is one of those fun memories that I'm sharing with you right now. And then creating something different and new and self-sustaining. And what I've been trying to chew on a simple concept that comes across as complex, and that is health. And health get confusing. Everybody perceives they're healthy, and all of a sudden they have metastatic cancer, and then they die. Oh shoot! I was super happy, healthy until I realized that my basic immune system had failed me, and I died. Or I was super healthy until I had a heart attack, and then I died. Super happy, healthy until I had a stroke, and then I died, or was severely crippled. So maybe a better answer to health would be the ability to have energy, or create energy, and then be able to do something with it, right? So, and think about this. Think about like with your spending time with your kids. Do you get to the point where you get home at the end of the day and you like just don't have any more energy left, and therefore you don't really get to really enjoy your kids? Or weekend comes and you're so exhausted that you don't really get to have fun or do anything outside or that requires more energy because you're just recovering from the week. So how healthy are you in that area of your life? If you don't have energy to do the things because you're so busy recovering, would you consider yourself healthy? And so I oftentimes get like, oh my gosh, Devin, you just have so much energy. Just go run. I went and ran 8 miles this morning. Then did yoga with my wife. I did yoga before I went and ran at 5 o'clock in the morning. And now I'm scooping out all this junk out of the pool. And then I'll move on to the next project after this. And then I'll go serve some people this afternoon. And it's almost as if I have an endless supply of energy. Well, the interesting thing is we all have the same capacity to form energy because our nervous system is an electrical system. In fact, our brain, a little noggin up here, creates enough electricity to simply power one incandescent light bulb. So it's a matter of how efficiently those signals from the brain to the body back to the brain can then operate, is how much energy you quote unquote have. And I learned this lesson rather expensively recently as I talked about my solar system. So I had these batteries, and I had 40 freaking lead acid batteries. I had experts install them, and then they're like, well, it's just not good battery. You have to have lithium batteries, and they wouldn't even last through the night. I mean, the power would go out, and that's no fun. And then I got some lithium ion batteries, and then those things was losing power at the same rate as my 40 lead acid batteries. This is supposed to be the solution. Thousands of dollars dumped into this process. All of our money. And literally, our last dollars that we bring right here were to buy these lithium ion batteries. And then, the experts were like, well, that's what it is. And then I realized I'd started doing some work and studying inverter systems, and I realized there's just one little setting in the inverter that was incorrectly set. It was one setting, and it was the amperage hours that was set. And it was set to charge the same amount of amperage, it was the same amount of voltage, it was all that was all set, except for the amperage hours within the inverter wasn't set correctly. Which means the software inhibited how much charge the battery could take. And now what does this mean for my seemingly abundant amount of energy and your energy? And I'll tell a story of a guy that has started to come up and to get healing in the last week. It's because in our noggin, there's basically two autonomic nervous system modes. There is survival mode, which is a limited energy capacity. It's limiting how much energy we can create and then use, because we're stuck in survival mode. So what we do is we conserve energy. Right? Do you have a problem conserving energy? Do you have an effective conservation process within your body that you just blame yourself because you're lazy? Just don't have the willpower to work out? Or is it your nervous system is limiting how much energy you can store and then use? Because if you're in survival mode, it's the same as at my inverter. It only allows a certain amount of energy to be stored and used. The rest of it is stored in our body as stress patterns in a locked position. So, in order to have abundant energy, you have to switch that switch within the brain in order to get out of survival mode and back into upgrade or revival mode, which then allows you to create more energy, to then move more, which then allows you to then create more energy. And again, that is the essence. That is the key to having more wattage within our brain, is to move our body more consistently. Movement increases our wattage. That's why exercise is good for you. Not because it's pumping the muscles or moving blood flow. It's because it's literally increasing the power that your brain produces. If you have more power in your brain, you have better connection within your body. You have a stronger connection. You can do more. You can heal better. You can function better. And your body doesn't feel the need to be in survival mode when you can do all those things. So, and you can see the vicious cycle that people get stuck in. That we labeled 1,000 different things, spending thousands of dollars for a switch, for something that missing this piece. And simply, it was a matter of changing the setting within the inverters, changing the setting within the neuroanatomy of the brain, turning off the amygdala, survival brain, turning on the prefrontal cortex. So, if you don't know how to do that by now, and you've been following me for a bit, just go to drugfreehappykids.org, spend $5, and get the audiobook to hear the entire story of this point right here. And then we'll give you everything that you could possibly do in your environment to change that switch out of survival mode into revival mode in order to have abundant energy. And I'm going to go back to my life of luxury. Updates coming soon.